Today, Zara is recognized globally not just as a clothing brand, but as a massive economic system that has rewritten the rules of modern commerce and logistics management. When analyzing this topic for an economics channel, our primary focus shouldn't be the products on the shelves. Rather, it should be how the brand reduced inventory costs to nearly zero and accelerated the velocity of money. This story is essentially one of converting speed into capital. In the traditional trade model, production is entirely a guessing game. Companies try to predict in the middle of winter what will sell in the summer. Based on these forecasts, they produce massive quantities and store these goods in large warehouses. However, one of the fundamental rules of economics is this: every product waiting in a warehouse is dead capital and imposes a cost on the company until it is sold. If things do not go as expected, those products remain unsold, forcing the company to take huge losses and resort to massive discounts just to clear out the stock. Zara completely shattered this sluggish structure. It reduced the time from design to sale from a process that took months to just a 2-week window. So, how does this 2-week miracle happen technically? The process works like this. Zara's thousands of store managers worldwide send data to the headquarters daily via their tablets. Which color isn't selling? Which collar type is being requested? What are people trying on but deciding not to buy? This information flows instantly to the design center in Spain. Based on this data, designers immediately create new sketches. Since fabrics are kept ready, cutting begins instantly, and sewing is completed in regions close to the production hubs, such as Spain, Portugal, Morocco, and Turkey. The products are then loaded onto trucks or planes and reach everywhere from Tokyo to New York within 48 hours. In other words, an idea turns into a physical product and enters a store in just 14 days. From a financial perspective, this represents enormous cash power and operational efficiency without relying on external debt. The brand effectively sells the product to the customer and puts the cash in its vault before it even has to pay its suppliers for the raw materials. There is also a very powerful psychological dimension to this business. Zara uses artificial scarcity and a sense of urgency as weapons to manage consumer behavior in the global market. In a traditional store, if you like a product, you might say, "I'll come back and buy it next week." But you can't do that at Zara. Every time you visit the store, you see a different window display and different products. This triggers the fear of missing out, FOMO, in the customer's mind. The fear that if I don't buy it now, I'll never find it again. This psychological pressure shortens the customer's decision-making time and encourages emotional, impulsive buying rather than rational thinking. While an average customer might visit a standard store 4 or 5 times a year, a Zara customer feels the need to visit every week. This significantly increases the velocity of money at the retail level and has transformed the entire market by pulling competitors into this high-speed race. However, this model also has very serious negative impacts on the economy, society, and the environment. No economic success comes without a price. The culture of rapid production and consumption has brought with it a massive waste problem. Today, the textile sector has become one of the primary culprits of global water pollution and carbon emissions. Clothes that are produced fast and consumed fast have short lifespans, fueling a throwaway economy. Furthermore, the constant pressure to produce faster and cheaper increases the burden on the workers at the very end of the supply chain. Low wages and deteriorating working conditions in developing countries constitute the dark side of this model. While operational efficiency increases, ethical and environmental costs grow at the same rate. From an economic framework, Zara created a point of resistance against inflation for a long time by keeping clothing prices at a certain level through its efficient supply chain. However, the global economy is changing today. Rising customs duties, energy crises, and shipping difficulties have begun to seriously test this fast model. In particular, trade wars between the US and Europe or new tax regulations make all supply chains, near or far, more expensive. If global trade shifts toward a more closed and protectionist structure, Meeting the cost of such a high-speed logistics network will become increasingly difficult. Companies must now plan their production not only based on cost, but also based on geopolitical risks. In conclusion, Zara has managed to turn speed and flexibility into its greatest capital in the world of economics. The market now rewards those who can put products on the shelf the fastest and manage cash flow the best, not just those who produce. The Zara model has taught us that the modern economy is no longer just about what you produce, but about how fast you move. However, in a world with limited resources, the sustainability of such a high-speed consumption model remains the biggest question mark for both the global economy and world resources. Economics is always a search for balance, and the costs brought by this extreme speed may become the biggest obstacle for companies in the future.